Alright, so here is a Farnsworth AM tube radio with a record player combo. This is a commonly referred to as a chairside radio from about 1946, and this is meant to go alongside a chair. As you sit down, you can tune the radio and all that from a nearby chair, volume control and all that. And you have the record player in here, which is a 78 only RPM record player. And so then that little door tilts down, and these were pretty popular, I guess, in the 40s and 30s and 40s. I know Philco made a bunch of these, but I've never seen a Farnsworth, one made by Farnsworth. But anyway, this is a 6-tube transformer operated set. And so it has 6.5 volt tubes in it. And looking up underneath it, we can see that this is a model EX264 made by Farnsworth Television and Radio Corporation in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And looking up under it, we can also see the bottom side of the phonograph here. Plenty of dust bunnies to go along with it. And we have our front fire and speaker here, which is a audio output transformer is mounted directly to the basket of the speaker. It doesn't appear to be a electrodynamic speaker. And when we power this radio up, we get a loud hum, so we know we got a bad filter capacitor. So I'm going to need to pull this chassis of this radio to get started working on it. But in order to do that, we're going to have to take out these 3 screws, one here, and one down over there. Hopefully you can see that. The video is kind of dark. Alright, so in order to get our chassis out, I had to tilt our radio over, or to the back, and we're going to need to pull, hopefully you can see it, I've already pulled this wire out, and this one here, should be for the antenna, our phono out, and we need to remove the wiring from our speaker, so this plug here has a 1/4 inch screw that you're going to have to remove here. Alright, so in the last part of the video I failed to see this here. It's I guess the power wires for the turntable. That unplugs up underneath the turntable, so you've got to pull that out, and then there's a staple that holds the wires in. You got to pull that out of the wood to get that come out. But anyway, we've got our chassis out, and the dial cord on it's broken, which is no surprise. I did try to tune it and it didn't move, so I figured that was what it was. So we'll have to get that replaced. I've got that in the schematic. Luckily the schematic does have that listed. I also have a dial string book too that has a lot of different models in it too, and then sometimes you can't find it in either one. You just have to figure it out yourself. But anyway, this is it. I said 6-tube chassis, awfully dusty, and we have this sort of elaborate dial light bulb wiring set up here with a cold spring on it there. It's definitely kind of interesting there. I haven't really seen that design before on a radio for dial lighting. The dial light bulb did work when I plugged it in. So Anyway, our problem lies here in this filter capacitor here, which is most likely shot, so we're going to have to replace it. It looks like it's a 30 and 20 microfarad capacitors, rated at 300 volt for the 30 microfarad. One of the 20 microfarads is 300 volts and the other one's 250 volts, it looks like. So we'll have to see what I got for capacitors in here, and may want to take this down and blow out all the dust. Definitely got its share of it. Alright, and here's the underside of the chassis here. It looks like we have pretty much all of our original paper capacitors and our big carbon resistors I have in here, and our transformer there. Alright, so I took the dial scale off, and the little backing plate which says Farnsworth on it goes back there, and then your glass dial scale goes over it. So, which involved taking out 4 screws, 2 on this side and 2 over here. And as you can see, I have our dial cord replaced, so I just want to note the routing of that. You got 2 turns on the shaft there, and it goes over this wheel, comes up, there's a wheel back behind here, goes around over your pointer. You just loop it through those 2 little fingers right there, and then it goes over to here and then back down and then over into here, and then this one here is important that this one goes all the way around and back over. So the schematic shows it done at this position here, so it would just come down and go in here. This one would go all the way around and back down over to here. And so also we have our filter capacitors replaced. I just disconnected this one here out of the circuit, and we added I did 2 10s for 20 microfarad for that 20 microfarad side. Then I did a 22. I had one 20, or excuse me, a 22 and a 10 for the 30 microfarad side, and then a 22 for that other 20 microfarad side at 250. So we got that replaced, and there is also a 100 ohm resistor that goes between the 2 positives on this one, so I put a new one of those in, although the other one over there was fine. Alright, so I've started replacing some capacitors in here, and I'm going to continue to work on that. I did hook this thing up temporarily to check it after I hooked the filter capacitors up inside the cabinet there, and with the antenna clip leaded in because I couldn't get it to reach, but it played pretty good and received pretty well. So I'm looking forward to getting this one buttoned up and back in the case. Alright, so it's the next day, and I finished my my recap here, and the resistors look good. Pretty surprised that some of them weren't out of tolerance, but they were all within specified, you know, I'd say about 20%, with the ones that didn't have a 4th band on it. It's what I normally do with those. So anyway, everything looked good. Alright, so before we put it back in the cabinet, I want to check these tubes and see how they're doing. I did tune it by ear on the the alignment. It was pretty much dead on. With these tubes in it, they seem to be pretty much dead on. The speaker setup in that radio is so hard to you know, utilize and hook up the speaker to do an alignment on it. To take that speaker out is not easy. So I think I'm just going to leave it where it's at. It actually picks up really good. It's got a pretty sensitive receive across the dial. So anyway, this is the 6V6 audio output tube here, and I've let it warm up for a while, and let's see what it says. If you see that, it's falling back a little bit when you energize this here. It starts falling back a little bit. I think that tube may be a little on the weak side. It's still reading good, but it falls back a little bit. It's falling back a little bit. So I'm gonna see what else we got around here. I've got a few of these 6V6 tubes in my junk boxes. Alright, here's a Kenrad here that I had out of my junk stash, and it reads a little bit stronger and it's not falling back, so we'll go with this one. And this one here is, oh, excuse me, it's a Delco. No markings. There's a marking here, but it's faded out and somebody wrote it in at the top there. And this is our 6X5. It's an RCA, just like the other one, the other 6V6 was. And it too, like the 6V6, is backing up. It's checking in the plenty good, but it's backing up just like our other one there. So it may be getting a little weak or something. It looks to me like that filament is really dim looking, so it's probably seen its better days and it's probably getting a little weak. I believe I've got one of these somewhere around here. Alright, so here's this GM Delco that I have got in a bag of tubes that I got at the last ham fest I went to up in Charlotte. And see, we got about 700, something like that. Yeah, I think it's fine. That's better than the other one. This one's not backing up or anything. Yeah, here's a look at that tube. It looks almost new, and got a nice bright filament in it, nice and clean. So yeah, I think we'll go with this one here. Alright, so this is the 6SQ7, which is the first audio tube here, and I'm getting kind of a weak reading on this, but I kind of doubt this tester on certain tubes. I kind of doubt the settings that they have sometimes on these things. They have you turn the shunt way down, and I don't know. I kind of doubt that reading, because I have a reason for that, and I'm about to show you right now. Okay, so here is a new old stock Sylvania 6SQ7. It was basically still new in the box, and this is what I'm getting on it. It is a little bit stronger, but not by a whole lot. So that's why I kind of doubt this tester. I mean, it's you know, a new old stock tube should read stronger than that. You know, it should be, you know, something like that, or, you know, more. You know, maybe you know, you know, something like that is a new old stock reading. So, you know, I just kind of doubt their shunt settings on this for, you know. So yeah, I mean, you can see, you know, that tube has never been installed. So yeah, that's a brand new tube. So I don't know. I don't think the old one's bad. I don't think it's weak, so I'm just going to leave it in there. Alright, so here is the 6SK7, which is our IF tube. And it's reading over 600, so that one's good. Thank God. Alright, so this is starting to be one of those radios that I wish I hadn't even checked the tubes on. Because it seems like every tube or every other tube I check on this thing is no good. And this one's about like that. It's just right, you know, barely good here. I think I have a few of these tubes in my junk box, so let's compare the two. Alright, so this one here, hands down, is a whole lot better than the other one, so I guess we'll go with this one here. Alright, here's another borderline one here. Seems like it's fallen off a little bit too. Not much, but man, you know, it's just one of those things, man. You know, when you buy one of these radios, I'm glad I got this one cheap. Just about all these tubes are weak or borderline or whatever. Alright, so here's an RCA that's marked OK. I guess it's okay. We'll go with this one. Alright, I got the chassis back in the cabinet here, so let's turn it on and see if it works.
Back up a little bit.
Oh yeah, there it is.
But you've got good safety there. You're in good shape. Hey, thanks for the call. $408 800-955-8408.
If you're 85 or...
It's $199 per month, no money down, rebates and discounts.
Or if you'd like to know some helpful literature on this subject.
Field around for him with the Cavs, although they are healthy, and they're going to have a 10-man rotation.
Horses and more. They have a huge array.
You can see all 55 on TexasSuperfood.com.
All of the nutrients.
Was caught stealing, Yachty in a home run to right. And the Cardinals have, we're here in the 8th. Tepera's ready.
Business online at ncscash.com or call 800-724-7773. That's 800-724-7773. 800-724 now.
So 12 of the last 13 have gone to the Tigers. Prior to that, Tennessee had reeled off top of the 10. Almost out there.
He goes back to college and he finds out that
The fifth inning, they get no runs, no hits, nobody left.
And the building and so I would say that some of these buildings, some of these targets are in built-up areas.
In general, the deterrent factor, obviously you can't just bomb Bashar al-Assad into submission. I think that's been proven over the last number of years of the Syrian civil war. But can this have
Eat or contribute to our community. If you are a dentist or know a dentist, please share this message. Will You See One? Visit willyouseeone.org to help change one life in your community today.
all right?
I was going to say, if you can't remember his name, which I have that problem sometimes.
we're taking out the girls on the upper deck, rubbing in the 15.
WSM there.
Everybody's jumping in.
As a virtual receptionist who directs calls to the right extension and the middle live to help you answer while away from the office. But all that's small really is the practice. I know the next important that we get to do this together.
Have a great weekend. Be sure to get to church. Watch the turning point on your television. Radio and television.
Alright, here's my 1946, 1947 Farnsworth Chairside AM radio with turntable. I may do a part 2 later on and get into the turntable. I do already know that the crystal cartridge in it is dead, so it's going to take some sort of new needle setup for it to even be able to work, and of course it's 78 only. So anyway, in closing, I'll show you something else about this radio that makes it kind of neat. Alright, and I don't know how well you can see this, it looks pretty dark, but this radio has a phono jack input, which is right there, and if you wanted to, you could hook up an adapter to that, to the input of the phono, and hook up an MP3 player, or you know, a satellite radio or something like that, so you can play some old radio shows or some radio programs or something like that, or whatever you wanted to play into it. You wanted to hook up something with an FM tuner on it, you could do that too. So anyway, this is my 47 model Farnsworth EK264. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, hit the like button, and if you like the content and you like the videos, consider subscribing to this channel, and telling a friend about us. It would definitely help us out. Thanks for watching, guys.